They look like ghosts live in them. These places fascinate with their mystery. They are distant from civilization, but at the same time very popular among tourists. Today on Facts in Box, we'll take a look at 7 deserted places. Kolmanskop, Namibia. Kolmanskop is a ghost town in southern Namibia, located a few kilometers from the port of Luderitz. In 1908, when a diamond rush swept the area, people rushed to Namibia hoping to get rich. But after World War I, when diamond sales fell, the city turned into a deserted wasteland. The city had casinos, schools, hospitals, as well as residential buildings. Metal structures collapsed, and beautiful gardens and neat streets are now completely covered with sand. The creak of doors and broken windows now pollute the endless desert. Only a few buildings are in good condition. They preserve the interiors and furniture. However, most are simply ruins in which ghosts now rule. Sanji Taiwan. A futuristic village was built in northern Taiwan as an elite luxury resort for wealthy people. However, after numerous accidents during construction, the project was stopped. The lack of money and the lack of motivation caused them to completely stop. Strange, futuristic buildings stood there as a memory of those who died during construction. Now, there are rumors of numerous ghosts wandering around the city. In 2008, another fateful agreement was reached for Sanji. At the initiative of the authorities in New Taipei, the ghost resort town was destroyed. Demolition work began on December 29, 2008. In its place, they intend to set up a recreational park with a health center in a completely different architectural style. As of the end of March 2018, this territory is a wasteland. Kijima Japan. Kijima is one of the 505 uninhabited islands of Japan. It's located around 15 kilometers from Nagasaki. It is also called Gudkonjima, or Armadillo Island. In 1980, it was bought by Mitsubishi, who began mining coal from the bottom of the sea. In 1916, the company was forced to build Japan's first large concrete building. It was a multi-story building where workers lived. In 1959, the population of the island rapidly increased. It was one of the most densely populated islands ever recorded in the world. In the 1960s, oil replaced coal in Japan. As a result, coal mines began to close all over the country. The island was no exception. In 1974, Mitsubishi officially announced cessation of work. Today, the island is completely empty. Traveling there is prohibited. In 2003, the movie Battle Royale 2 was shot there, and it was also featured in the popular Asian video game Killer 7. Kowloon Walled City, Hong Kong. The Kowloon Walled City was located outside Hong Kong during British rule. A former guard post was created to protect the territory from pirates. During World War II, Japan occupied it, and after its surrender, it passed into the hands of squatters. Neither England nor Hong Kong wanted to be responsible for it, so it became an independent city without any laws. The population of the city flourished for decades. Residents built real labyrinths of corridors over the streets, which were clogged with trash. The buildings became so tall that sunlight could not reach lower levels, and the whole city was lit with fluorescent lamps. It was a real center of lawless brothels, casinos, opium dens, cocaine dealers, food courts serving dog meat, and other illegal activities. Everything functioned unhindered by authorities. In 1993, the British and Hong Kong authorities made a joint decision to close the city, as its anarchist spirit began to get out of control. Bannerman Castle on Palepo Island, USA. Frank Bannerman was a wealthy arms dealer from Scotland who made a huge fortune from reselling ammunition during the Spanish-American War. Unable to find a better place to store goods, he bought an island and built a castle on it in the traditional European style and used it as a warehouse. In 1969, a severe fire caused irreparable damage to the castle, and the state government, who had bought the land several years before, decided not to rebuild it. The underwater city of Xicheng, China. This city was flooded with an artificial lake after the construction of a local hydroelectric station was completed. In the 1950s, the need arose for China to build hydroelectric power stations. To do this, the Chinese authorities decided to artificially flood some cities and villages, among which was the city of Xicheng. Its population was resettled in other settlements. When the city became deserted, a dam was erected. Over time, the city gradually fell underwater. In the end, this area became the bottom of a huge reservoir, Qingdaohu Lake, whose name translates to Lake of 1,000 Islands. The mysterious city, buried 26 to 40 meters underwater, is well preserved and still attracts the attention of numerous researchers. It's noteworthy that for almost 50 years this underwater city was not known to the general public. It was only at the beginning of the 21st century that the Chinese authorities decided to make Xichang a tourist attraction and open it to visitors. Hotel del Salto in Colombia. In 1923, a mansion was built by the architect Carlos Arturo Tapia, which was later converted into a hotel. Due to the deterioration of the picturesque Takendama waterfall located nearby, the flow of tourists began to dry up. In the 1970s, a period of structural degradation began. The hotel was closed due to contaminated river water. Later, there were rumors that the hotel had ghosts, which became most attractive to tourists. There was talk of renewing it and restoring it to its former glory, but it was all talk. Various ghost stories have stemmed from this hotel. Some detail constant fights in the bar on the second floor being heard. Others are stories about those who wanted to end it all by jumping off a cliff. Currently, the hotel, which is now a cultural heritage site, was reconstructed and turned into a museum. Which abandoned city caught your attention? Have you been to any of these cities? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. There are plenty more awesome videos to come. Until next time, on Facts in Box.